morning. Let's start the daily discussion. The first topic that we take today is relating to the Indian economic issue related to planning, mobilization, resources, effect on liberalization on the economy, etc. The IMF semi-annual report navigating global divergence on the world economy 2023 has been published. It has updated its forecast GDP growth rate for India for 2023-24, moving it up from 6.1% to 6.3%. Okay, summary of the issue. Projections from the International Monetary Fund in terms US dollar, India's economy is currently the fifth largest in the world in terms of American dollar. Indian economy the fifth largest. By 2027, it predicts that Indian economy will rank third in the world. By 2027, it is projected to grow to the third largest economy in the world from the fifth position. Above us are two countries, Germany and Japan, with whom we want to overtake both Germany and Japan to reach the third place. And only above us will be America and China. Among G20, India has the fastest growth rate, outpacing China's for the past 2 years. The GDP growth rate of India is more than China, and among the G20 countries, India has the fastest growth rate. According to historical data from the IMF, it took India 60 years from 1947 to 2007 to surpass the 1 trillion GDP threshold in 2007. Okay, so nearly 50 years to reach the 1 trillion threshold. And India's economy grew from 0 to 2 trillion in just 7 years between 2007 to 2013. So only within 7 year period, so it doubled it to 2 trillion. Okay, from 0 to 2 trillion dollar. By 2021, it had added another trillion by 1.2. Okay, trillion dollar. If India achieved the 5.2 trillion target set by IMF by 2027, it would have added 2 trillion in just 6 years. So in the next 6 years, it has added another $2 trillion. GDP and individual GDP expressed as a purchasing power parity. What is PPP? This is a new concept called purchasing power parity. What is purchasing power parity? Purchasing power parity implies what the currency can purchase in its own economy. Okay. What the currency can purchase in its own economy is called as the PPT, the PPP. So PPP stands for Purchasing Power Parity. It implies what the currency can purchase in its own economy. Okay, okay. So what it can purchase in its own economy as compared to the previous condition of that what the currency can purchase in other economy. This is different what the currency can purchase in its own economy. That is known as the purchasing power parity. Okay. Okay. So it establishes the value of US dollar in that nation. India currently ranked third in the world for GDP measured on a PPP basis. The GDP of 13 trillion people purchasing power parity. With a GDP of 33 trillion, China leads the world. The US comes in the second, and India is the third one with 13 trillion purchasing power parity. So with China at 33, America has 22, and India has 13 trillion dollar PPP. There may be large difference in the price of goods and services. Indian PPP to dollar conversion ratio is 3.5. Okay, nearly twice as high as China's, which is 1.7. Okay, for instance, if $1 can purchase a humbuck in its native nation, it can also purchase 3.5 humbucks in India, 1.7 humbucks in China. That means, so Indian currency can purchase more. Okay, than than what the American dollar and the Chinese currency can purchase. India has the lowest per capita. India has India has the lowest per capita income among the G20 nations in terms of PPP. Only 9,073 and dollar is 2601. Okay, PPP is 9073 and dollar is 2601. Okay, so from 1981. Okay, so at 80,032 US are the highest GDP per capita. Okay, in 1981 to 2016, China one child family policy paid off, increasing per capita GDP to $23,382 per purchasing power parity, and America is at top with 80,035 dollar as GDP per capita. Additional forecast in the IMF report, the employer its forecast for global GDP growth. It included China's by 3 percentage point to 4.2%. It is commonly known that the economies that experienced the greatest damage during the COVID-19 pandemic also experienced the steepest recovery. Estimates concerning India's GDP decreased by 6.5% on a quarter-over-quarter basis the second quarter of 2020, with an output decline of 8.5% from the year before. The global large economics saw one of the worst contraction in output in 2020-21. The real annual GDP growth rate of India decreased from 8.8% in 2016-17 to 2.8% in 2019-20, adjusted for inflation. With 1.9 lakh, the real per capita income level in 2021-22 was approximately 600 more than that in 2019-20. The recovery picked up speed in 2020-23 as international supply chains were recognized and domestic supplies were reinstated. Current concern, India's vulnerability to its massive trade deficit with China has grown despite a sharp decline in the country's net exports to GDP ratio. Net exports are exports less imports. India appears to be structurally dependent on Chinese manufacturers, a situation that is difficult to address with small adjustment in relative prices. A third of India's trade deficit was 15% to 16% of its import come from China. A consistent reduction in the industrial growth rate from 13.1% in 2015-16 to 3 minus 3.5% in 2019-20, the COVID period. The index of industrial production yields the following industrial growth rates over an extended duration. It display a concerning decline. Way ahead, by adopting a wider and slightly longer perspective, policymakers can reduce their optimism and recognize the dynamic nature of the geopolitical landscape that influences economic policy decisions. India's SDI, Human Development Index, decreased by one rank between 2015 and 2021 from 0.645 in 2018 to 0.633 in 2021. This indicates that other nations have outperformed India. That means Indian performance in Human Development Index is not that laudable in comparison to other countries. Okay, so despite government's effort, the trade deficit to China continued to rise, posing a strategic threat. The decline in industrial output growth rate, particularly in capital goods, is the mirror image of this. An analysis by Niti Aayog and impressive decrease in the number of people living in multidimensional poverty in India between 2015-16 and 2019-21. An estimated 13.5 crore Indians are thought to have escaped multidimensional poverty. The National Family Health Survey for 2019-21 offers plenty of proof that a number of indicators pertaining to the following have significantly improved. The standard of living in rural areas, such as having access to electricity, better sources of drinking water, and health insurance coverage. Because of the government support for agriculture, the growth rate of fruits, vegetables, dairy, and livestock products combined and fishery have never been higher. India understands that there is still a long way to go before the majority of its people enjoy a high standard of living and a high income. Okay, so this is what is the projection and the suggestions to further improve it and to maintain it. Okay, the UN reports record high concentration of greenhouse gases, environmental topic. So the unprecedented increase in greenhouse gas concentration in the atmosphere that will set new records in 2022 was recently brought to the attention of the UN in a warning. The alarming consequences as described in the 19th annual Greenhouse Gas Bulletin of the United Nations World Meteorological Organization WMO, which predicts higher sea level, more intense extreme weather events, and higher temperature as a result. What are the major highlights of the bulletin? Unprecedented greenhouse gas levels. According to the World Meteorological Organization, the ninth annual greenhouse gas bulletin, the three main greenhouse gases, nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, and methane, all have levels that are higher than previously recorded, indicating an inverse increase in their atmospheric presence. In 2022 saw a considerable increase in carbon dioxide concentration of 418 parts per million, methane concentration of 1923 parts per billion, and nitrous oxide concentration of 336 parts per billion, respectively, over pre-industrial level by 150 to 64% and 124%. Approximately 64% of the warming effect on the climate is attributed to carbon dioxide, one of the three main greenhouse gases. Methane, which accounts for roughly 16% of the global warming, is the second most important contributor to climate change. It is estimated that nitrous oxide makes up 7% of the warming effect. Issue with the Paris Agreement in 2015, the Paris Climate Agreement set a target of keeping global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade, ideally less than 2 degrees over the pre-industrial level. Regretfully, in 2022, the average global temperature rose by 1.15 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels. The target was to reduce it, but it has increased, not decreased. The present trajectory points to a dark scenario. By the end of the century, global warming will have greatly exceeded the targets set forth in the Paris Agreement, with disastrous effects such as extreme weather, ice melt, and ocean acidification. Projected climate disruptions, an increasingly severe future due to these heat-trapping gases like the carbon what is called the greenhouse gases. Okay, is predicted by their steady rise. The bulletin emphasizes how urgently fossil fuel consumption must be reduced in order to mitigate these growing risks. The climate system may be approaching crucial tipping points at which certain modifications trigger irreversible cascades, such as major ice sheets becoming unstable, the Amazon rapidly dying back, and the slowing of the North Atlantic circulation, which are the main cause of the increasing concentration of greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. So this is what, and the greenhouse gases trapped in the glaciers in case they are released. So this will aggravate the situation further. Fossil fuel combustion, burning fossil fuel for energy, the main source of carbon dioxide emission. Coal is largely used in transportation, power generation, and industrial process, which releases CO2 into the atmosphere, the biggest polluter. Deforestation and change in land use, forest absorb CO2 and acts as carbon sink. These sinks are diminished by deforestation and change in land use, mostly due to urbanization or agriculture, which releases stored carbon and lowers the Earth's ability to absorb carbon dioxide. Part of the Amazon rainforest, which was formerly a major carbon sink, are now major carbon emitters due to deforestation. So from a carbon sink, the Amazon rainforest became a net carbon emitter. Agricultural practices, methane and nitrous oxide emissions are largely caused by agriculture. Methane is produced by rising livestock, and nitrous oxide is released when fertilizer based on nitrogen are used in the paddy field. Improve waste management when organic waste break down in anaerobic environments, particularly in the landfills. Improved waste management produces methane. Natural mechanism. Greenhouse gases are also released by wildfires, volcanic eruptions, and natural decay processes. Although these occurrences have happened in the past, human activity has increased their frequency and significance. Urbanization and population growth. As cities expand quickly, more people live there, which raises energy consumption, vehicle emission, and the need for infrastructure, all of which contribute to increased greenhouse gas emission. Rising temperatures cause permafrost to thaw, which releases methane, a strong greenhouse gas trapped in the frozen soil when the permafrost breaks. So, permafrost is permanent ice in the glacier region. As they are being melting, so that is releasing huge quantity of. Okay. So, what potentially serious concerns could increase greenhouse gas concentration have? Increase greenhouse gas concentration, amplify the greenhouse effect, trapping more heat in the atmosphere and causing induced climate change. As a result, there is an increase in global temperature, changing precipitation pattern and weather pattern that can result in droughts, heat waves, floods, and strong storms. Rising sea level and melting ice as a result of glaciers and polar ice cap melting due to warming temperatures, sea level are rising. This phenomenon increases the risk of flooding and causes coastal erosion by endangering infrastructure, biodiversity, and coastal communities. Food and water security, agricultural productivity can be impacted by temperature and precipitation variation, which can result in crop failures and decreased food security. A shortage of water or an abundance of rainfall can affect the amount of water available for industry, agriculture, and drinking. Ocean acidification. When ocean absorb too much carbon dioxide, it causes acidification, which affect marine life. Acidic water impairs some marine organisms' capacity to form skeleton and cells like the corals, which has an impact on plankton, coral reef, and shellfish, which form the basis of marine food chain. Geopolitical tension in area already experiencing socio-political instability, climate-induced displacement, resource scarcity, and competition for habitable areas may result in geopolitical tensions and conflicts over resources, land, and water. You see the 2 years, nearly 2 years old Russia-Ukraine war, the present Israel and Palestine war, they all have their impact on the climate because huge armaments, weapons, chemicals are used over there. What are the key initiatives to curb greenhouse gas emission? So Kyoto Protocol was signed in Paris Climate Agreement in 2015. In the Solar Alliance to go for the solar power, Global Biofuel Alliance to promote the use of biofuels, and in India, the Bharat Stage 4 to Stage 6 emission norms right now into Bharat Stage 6 National Action Plan on Climate Change being adopted. Energy Conservation Amendment Act 2022 go for energy conservation. The BE Bureau of Energy Efficiency to go for less energy consumption and more efficient that gadgets. Okay, so India intended national contribution that India has promised to reduce by 33%. Then the Panchamrit goal, okay, and the way ahead is implement law and technology aimed at curbing greenhouse gas emissions from industry like transportation, energy, manufacturing, and agriculture as part of the mitigation strategies. This entails shifting to renewable energy sources, enhancing energy economy, encouraging sustainable land use, and lowering reliance on fossil fuels. Adjustment techniques, formula and execute adaptation plans to address the current and anticipated consequences of climate change. To withstand extreme weather events and shifting climate patterns, this entails strengthening resilience in urban planning, agriculture, water management, and infrastructure. Working together internationally, though international agreement and partnership promote complement to climate action and global cooperation, urge countries to stick to agreements they have made, such as the Paris Agreement, and to set aggressive goals to reduce the rate of increase in global temperatures. Then Indira Gandhi Prize for Peace, the Indira Gandhi Prize for Peace, Disarmament and Development 2022. Okay, the Indira Gandhi Prize for Peace, Disarmament and Development 2022 was jointly awarded to Indian Medical Association and the Trained Nurse Association of India as representatives of the COVID-19 warriors in the country. The Indira Gandhi Prize for Peace, Disarmament and Development instituted in memory of former Prime Minister by trust in her name in 1986. It consists of a monetary award of 25 lakhs rupees along with a citation. The award is given to individuals or organizations who work towards ensuring international peace and development, ensuring that so scientific discovery are used to further the scope of freedom and better humanity, and creating new international economic order. Then past recipients would include Mikhail Gorbachev, former leader of Soviet Union, President of Soviet Union, UNICEF, Jimmy Carter, former President of USA, UN Under Secretary General Kofi Annan, Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany, Indian Space Research Organization, former Prime Minister of India Manmohan Singh, Sir David Attenborough, that Gandhi movie, and the Pratham NGO in 2021. So these are the honorable recipients of the Indira Gandhi Peace Prize in the past. In the Ona Tukaru Elu, efforts are being made by the Kerala State Authority to expand the cultivation of geographical indication GI tag Ona Tukara Sesame. It is cultivated in the state of Kerala. Ona Tukara Elu and the oil are famous for its unique health benefits. A relatively higher antioxidant content in Ona Tukara Elu helps in fighting the free radicals which destroy the body cells. It has the high content of unsaturated fat makes it beneficial for heart patients. This sesame grown in the region contain high level of vitamin E and antioxidants. It also contain aeolic acid, leonic acid, palentolic acid, and so on, which help maintain good health. Key facts about the geographical indication tab. It is a sign used to product that have a specific geographical. Okay. So it is a sign used to products that have a specific geographical origin and possesses qualities or a reputation that are due to that region. This is typically used for agricultural products, foodstuffs, wine and spirit drinks, handicrafts and industrial products. The geographical indication of Goods Registration and Protection Act 1999 seek to provide for the registration and better protection of geographical indications relating to goods in India. The GI tag is valid for 10 years, following which it can be renewed. Then Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana scheme. The Union Finance and the Corporate Affairs Minister recently said women entrepreneurs are accorded first priority under the center's flagship Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana scheme. About Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, it is a flagship scheme of the Government of India to extend affordable credit to micro and small enterprises. Mudra scheme are designated to bring enterprises into the formal financial system or to fund the unfunded. It enables small borrowers to borrow from all public sector banks such as the PSU banks, regional rural banks and cooperative banks, private sector banks, foreign banks, microfinance institutions and non-banking financial companies for loans up to rupees 10 lakhs for non-farm income generating activities. Eligibility: any Indian citizen who have a business plan for a non-farm sector income generating activities such as manufacturing, processing, trading or the service sector and whose credit need is less than 10 lakh can approach either a bank, the microfinance institutions or the non-banking financial companies for availing a micro unit development and financing agency Mudra loan under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Okay, and it has three different schemes: the Sishu, Kishore, and the Tarun. Okay, so types of loan provided under the aegis of the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Mudra has already created the following products: Sishu loans covering loans up to 50,000, Kishore covering loans up to above 50,000 and up to 5 lakhs, and Tarun covering loans above 5 lakhs and up to 10 lakhs. There is no subsidy for the loan given under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. However, if the loan proposal is linked to some government scheme wherein the government is providing capital subsidies, it will be eligible under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana also. Then the fractals, physicists use the fractal geometry approach to study quantum system. A fractal is a never-ending pattern. Fractals are indefinitely complex patterns that are self-similar across different scales. Fractal patterns are extremely familiar since nature is full of fractals. For instance, tree, rivers, coastlines, mountains, clouds, seashells, hurricanes, etc. They are capable of describing many irregular shaped objects or spatially non-uniform phenomena in nature. Fractals are useful in modeling structures such as the erode coastlines and snowflakes, in which similar patterns recur at progressively small scale, and in describing partly random and chaotic phenomena such as the crystal growth, fluid turbulence, and galaxy formation. Then greenwashing, another important one. The Advertising Standard Council of India recently proposed guidelines that aims to check greenwashing in advertisement. So about greenwashing, it is a process of conveying a false impression or misleading information about how a company's products are environmentally sound. Greenwashing involves making an unsubstantiated claim to describe consumer into believing that a company's product are environmentally friendly or have a greater positive environmental impact than they actually do. So this is what is called greenwashing. That means although the products are not of that quality while protecting environment, but the company advertisement in such a way that consumer believe that this product is environmental friendly and have a less negative impact on the environment. In addition, greenwashing may occur when a company attempts to emphasize sustainable aspects of a product to overshadow its involvement in environmentally damaging practices. Although it itself is involved in environment damaging practices, but it highlights it in the form of greenwashing. Companies can also greenwash initiatives with vague claims that do not provide real data or scientific validation for the claims. For example, a car vendor claims that a vehicle is eco-friendly because it is more fuel efficient, while failing to mention or consider the larger industrial impact of vehicle manufacturing on the environment. But they highlighted the Euro emission standard or the Bharat state standard to show that this product is very environmentally less polluting. Then the question talk about how important the Indian Ocean region is to the global trade, security and prosperity, emphasize the primary obstacles linked to the area as well. The Indian Ocean is a huge crater that stretches from the Mozambique Channel in the west to the western coast of Australia. and the Strait of Malacca in the east. They extend from the Arabian Sea and Persian Gulf in the north to the southern Indian Ocean. The region's geoeconomic significance can be explained by its size and diversity. The importance of Indian Ocean region is international trade, security and economic prosperity. Economics and trade. The region is home to 2.6 billion people and one third of the world's population. It also handles 80% of the world's oil traffic, 50% of the containerized freights, and 33% of bulk cargo. The flow of liquid energy around the world depends on the Indian Ocean region as well. 10 states around the Indian Ocean coast hold about 65% of the world's oil reserve. Okay, so the region generates 1 trillion in products. The flow of liquid energy around the world depends on the Indian Ocean region as well. 10 states around the Indian Ocean region hold about 65% of the world's oil reserve. The region generates 1 trillion in products and services in total, with intra-ICRA Indian Ocean Region Association trade account for about 800 billion in that of that total. hydrothermal vent with mineral deposits of copper, cobalt, nickel, zinc, gold, and rare earth elements can be found in the Indian Ocean. In the that is why it is called the polymetallic nodules mining. India leads the region in terms of both import and export volume, and is followed by Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, and Thailand. The GDP of several nations, notably Singapore, Indonesia, and India, have increased significantly in the previous 20 years. Protection. The Indian Ocean region has great strategic importance due to its proximity to unstable areas of the East African and West Asian continents. It is also linked to the well-known SLOC, okay, and the unstable water of the coast of Somalia, where maritime terrorism and international piracy are still major problems. As a result, the region is essential to the Indian Ocean region stability and security. Challenges to the Indian Ocean region. Due to its importance as a driver of global economic expansion, the Indian Ocean serves as a significant hub for drug smuggling, piracy, and illegal unreported fishing. Okay, that IUUF fishing, illegal, unreported, and unprotected fishing. According to Food and Agriculture Organization, estimates 30% of these stocks in the Indian Ocean are not being fished at levels that are ecologically viable. The global economy bears heavy losses as a result of this piracy. An estimated 7 billion to 12 billion in damages occur annually as a result of piracy. And recently, the pirates hijacked one ship. Okay, so in this region, drug trafficking and small gun trafficking, two of the most common marine crime in the area are drug trafficking and small gun trafficking. The UN Office on Drugs and Crime state that there are two primary ways that drug production affect the Indian Ocean: the Golden Triangle and the Golden Crescent. Okay, spread over India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and India, and Myanmar, Laos, etc. The eastern coast of Africa has become a transshipment hub for drugs and small guns in the western Indian Ocean, with an annual worth of 190 million. World's hazard belts. The Indian Ocean region is sometimes referred as the world's hazard belt due to its geographic susceptibility to disasters like the cyclone and similar things. Additionally, the area has the world's least advanced disaster response coordinating system. Choke Point, the state of Malacca, Umruj, and Bab el Mandeb are the three principal choke points in the Indian Ocean. To the critical nature of these chokes, sites for global trade, even a slight disruption could have a significant effect on global transportation. So, in conclusion, it can be said the Indian Ocean region is becoming increasingly significant for international trade, geopolitical rivalry, and marine security. Regional frameworks, including the Indian Ocean Commission, Indian Ocean Rim Association, Indian Ocean Naval Symposium, are primarily responsible for facilitating cooperation throughout the Indian Ocean. All parties involved will be able to coordinate and collaborate more effectively if the Indian Ocean is given a unified maritime identity and strategy. So this Indian Ocean region is very important. So it was here, India is a big player, China is there, America is entering, and there are so many East Asian countries who are Bangladesh and tigers like Singapore. So this region has a big prospect in the future, and its interest should be taken care of. Then come to the MCQ, consider the following statement of the Survey of India. It acts as an advisor to the Government of India on all cartographic related matters. Okay. The organization of the Ministry of Mines, no, it is the prime provider of basic art science information to government, industry, and general public. The Survey of India. So only one is correct. Consider the following statement regarding the Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. It is awarded to individual as well organization who work towards peace and development. Right? It's conferred only on Indian citizens. No. So only one is correct. Okay. So two is incorrect. Then the Ona Tukara Sisame, which recently got GI tag, is cultivated in Kerala. It has its own antioxidant and health benefits. With reference to Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, consider the following. It extends affordable credit to micro and small enterprises, right? A farming related income generating activity is eligible for loan under the scheme. That is okay, not correct. There is no subsidy for the loan given under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. So 1 and 3 are correct. So that means only 2 are correct. The 2 farming loan is not given under this. So with reference to the fractal, consider the following statement. Fractals are in infinitely complex patterns that are self-similar across different scales, right? They are capable of describing many irregular shaped objects or spatially non-uniform phenomena in nature, right? Fractals are useful in describing partly random or chaotic phenomena such as crystal growth, fluid turbulence, and galaxy formation. All the three are correct here. Which of the following are example of greenwashing? A company emphasizing its commitment to sustainability with detailed data that is not a car vendor claiming a vehicle is eco-friendly based solely on its fuel efficiency. Is it right? Okay, so B is the right answer. Recently, NASA's Psyche mission was in news. It is related to study of the asteroids. So that's the Psyche mission, study of asteroids. UDAN, Unity of Digitization, Automation, Artificial Intelligence and Application Network, works under which ministry? In Indian Air Force. This is the Indian Air Force of that activity. The following statement: Somalia is a landlocked country situated in the Horn of Africa. That is incorrect. The Bajuni Island and the Socotra archipelago are part of the administrative by the Somalia. So both here are incorrect. So which of the following statement best describe the term black gold? Coal and its derivatives. Gold extracted from coal deposits, petroleum and its derivatives are called the black gold. So C is the right answer. So thank you for watching. Keep watching regular to update yourself on a daily basis. Thank you.